Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Today we're diving into Tevi Troy's The Power and the Money, a history of CEOs and presidents, a fascinating exploration of the intertwined relationship between American presidents and the CEOs of major corporations. This book isn't just a dry historical account. It's a story of ambition, influence, backroom deals, public feuds, and the evolving role of both government and big business in shaping American society. The book spans a century and a half, starting in the late 19th century with the rise of titans like John D. Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan. These early captains of industry built their empires during a period of laissez-faire economics with minimal government intervention. Rockefeller, focused on consolidating the oil industry, largely ignored public relations and political engagement, a strategy that would come back to haunt him. Morgan, in contrast, saw the value of cultivating relationships with presidents, even bailing out the U.S. Treasury during the Cleveland administration. The dawn of the progressive era marked a turning point. Theodore Roosevelt, an accidental president with a reformist zeal, took aim at monopolies. Rockefeller, already vilified by Ida Tarbell's muckraking journalism, became a convenient target for Roosevelt's bully pulpit. This period highlights the growing power of the media to shape public perception and consequently government policy. The Roaring Twenties offered a reprieve. This pro-business decade saw presidents like Harding and Coolidge embrace figures like Henry Ford and the Warner Brothers. Ford, despite his pacifist views and controversial anti-Semitic newspaper, enjoyed a close relationship with Harding, even joining him on camping trips. The Warners, recognizing the power of film, began a tradition of producing patriotic and politically themed movies, foreshadowing Hollywood's enduring influence on American culture and politics. The Great Depression brought Franklin D. Roosevelt to power and a renewed focus on government intervention in the economy. While the Warners enthusiastically backed FDR, producing films that aligned with his New Deal agenda, other CEOs clashed with the president. Luce, initially a Roosevelt admirer, turned against him over the New Deal and FDR's recognition of the Soviet Union. Ford, despite his respect for Roosevelt personally, vehemently opposed his policies, leading to a bitter feud. This era demonstrates how presidential CEO relations can be both deeply personal and profoundly shaped by policy disagreements. World War II brought about a degree of unity, even among adversaries. Ford, despite his pacifist views and dubious connections to Nazi Germany, ultimately mobilized his factories to become a vital part of the American war machine. Luce, though still critical of Roosevelt, softened his tone during the war, recognizing the importance of national unity. The Warners, as always, enthusiastically supported the war effort through their films. The post-war boom presented new challenges. Luce, a staunch anti-communist, clashed with Truman over the loss of China and MacArthur's dismissal. This period highlights the limits of CEO influence, even with a friendly administration. Lew Wasserman, initially uninterested in Washington, learned a hard lesson when the Kennedy administration blocked MCA's expansion. He realized the necessity of political engagement, becoming a major fundraiser and advisor to presidents, starting with Lyndon Johnson. Katharine Graham, inheriting the Washington Post, navigated the complexities of running a powerful newspaper during the Vietnam War and Watergate, often facing presidential ire, most notably from Nixon. The era of upheaval and stagflation brought new economic and political challenges. Wasserman built a strong relationship with Johnson, gaining access and influence while helping to transform Hollywood into a democratic fundraising powerhouse. Graham, after a difficult relationship with Johnson, faced an even more hostile Nixon administration during the Watergate scandal, risking her company's future to pursue the story. Iacocca, now at Chrysler, lobbied for government assistance, demonstrating the changing role of CEOs from seeking deregulation to requesting bailouts. Murdoch entered the American media landscape, recognizing the potential of a conservative news outlet and laying the groundwork for the future Fox News empire. The Reagan boom marked a return to pro-business policies. Wasserman, repairing his relationship with his former client Ronald Reagan, successfully lobbied against the repeal of the fin-sin rules, protecting Hollywood studios' profits. Iacocca, despite his personal friendship with Reagan, clashed with the administration's free market approach. This period also saw the rise of new tech titans like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, who initially avoided political engagement, a strategy that would eventually prove problematic for Gates. The post-Cold War era saw Bill Clinton embrace Silicon Valley, even as his administration pursued an aggressive antitrust case against Microsoft. Gates, despite the legal battles, cultivated a personal relationship with Clinton, demonstrating a new model of compartmentalization. Jobs, returning to Apple, maintained his distance from politics, though he did offer Clinton some advice during the Lewinsky scandal. Wasserman, a Clinton supporter, continued to wield his influence in Hollywood and Washington. The era of big tech domination brought new levels of corporate power and political scrutiny. Jobs, though still skeptical of politics, engaged more directly with Obama, offering critiques of the administration's policies. Musk, benefiting from government support for Tesla and SpaceX, initially collaborated with Trump but later became a target of both parties. Cook, recognizing the need for political engagement, skillfully navigated relationships with both Trump and Biden, prioritizing Apple's interests. Zuckerberg, after initially helping Obama's campaigns, faced backlash for Facebook's role in the 2016 election and struggled to manage relationships with both Trump and Biden. Dimon continued his balancing act of representing Wall Street, facing scrutiny from both parties, highlighting CEOs' changing approach from business representatives to frequent political players and targets. The main takeaway from The Power and the Money is that the relationship between CEOs and presidents is constantly evolving, shaped by economic conditions, political ideologies, and the personalities of the individuals involved. CEOs who want to succeed in this environment must be strategic, adaptable, and willing to engage with Washington, even when it's uncomfortable. Here are some easy-to-remember heuristics. Don't be a Rockefeller. Engage early and often with Washington. Ignoring public relations and political realities can have dire consequences. Be like Wasserman. Recognize the value of building relationships and offering advice. Presidents, like CEOs, are often lonely at the top. Learn from Gates. Compartmentalization can be effective, but it has its limits. Personal friendships can't always overcome policy disagreements. Remember Luce's lesson. Using your platform for overt political advocacy can damage your reputation. Don't be Musk. Alienating a president and a political party can have a negative impact on your business. Emulate Cook. Prioritize your company's interests. Personal political convictions should not trump business needs. Be wary of Zuckerberg. Too much influence can lead to political backlash. Be mindful of the ethical implications of your power. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.